22, 23 after.
The lights are on.
Lights are on. She talking to him on the phone, is she?
I don't know. Probably might be. Probably is. Who knows? How come we can't open City Hall? Everybody else can walk in.
That's what we need to ask him. Old man Lance can go in, why can't we?
We need to go to the back door.
This is bullshit.
Yeah. Keep everybody out in the cold.
Yeah. Peggy, you'll get in. You got a key.
Man, we don't open the doors until 2:30 or 6:30. Come on, we're freezing to death out here. You're citizens.
They don't open at 6:30, that's a violation.
Oh, well, they will
in
right at the last
violation now.
minute. You know how that is.
Huh?
Everybody else can walk on in. Or everybody go to the back door now. Is that how that works? How come we can't get in?
I don't know, I just got here. Watch out, that looks like it's just wet and that's sorry. Hey, bird. Stacy.
Hey.
Time is it?
6:26.
Can't get in.
So you probably had to call a flood of your husband escaped, haven't you?
Oh, last weekend.
Man, I tell you what, it done went cold compared to earlier.
No, and it's going to get worse next week, I said.
Supposed to get close to 0 tonight.
Yeah, I think the high on
Is it?
Monday is going to be, yeah. It's going to warm up like Thursday and Saturday.
She can't park here.
That dog would keep you warm.
Yeah,
She
she
has
can. She got
Linda
Linda
with her.
Isaac.
Do
with
what?
her.
She has Linda with her, who's the
Oh, okay.
guard. Hang on, I got a key. Find it.
Oh,
They need to throw a handicap sticker up there on her mirror.
I got one. Slow down. Man. No, you don't.
Stand by right, I've been.
Told my wife I was gonna climb up on the roof of the garage and take a picture of myself and post it.
Yeah, she probably
She's like,
wasn't
there's a lot of
for
people
that.
gonna beat you up for that.
Yeah, do that.
Not.
We're 100 and I was sitting in my nephew's baseball game. Yeah, that'd be fine with me.
My wife said, my niece is cheering. My nephew playing basketball tonight over in Wayne
Wayne
City.
City, yeah.
That's where they're all at.
She need help? Hold on. Hey, Bill or Dave or Dylan, someone help us.
Let's go in, let's go in, let's go in, let's go in. There we go. Okay, you're okay? Focus got the woolly.
Get a dog in here?
I guess. Service dog.
Oh.
Darren,
There she
Back.
is.
Come on, Pooch.
that's yours.
What's its name?
Darren,
Come on, come on, come here. Come on.
What's that? What's that on that? Step over it. There you go.
pile them up in the middle. If you guys want to move down this way, I think there'd be room for her on the end. So you were one of the dozen men in my bedroom.
Yeah, yep, I
Very
was the
good.
medic there with you.
Well, I heard your call go out that night. Are you doing okay? Yeah.
I won't be able to walk until I get my knee replaced.
Okay.
I got to go to the shop. I like every down the day. Huh?
Darren,
Hey, you're gonna make my puppies mad.
How far?
Dude. That's what it is. You smell my puppy on me, don't you?
Bitter.
It's pup.
come on, Darren. Just check everybody out.
Shaking.
Hi, guys. How are you doing? Come on in.
It's almost like my other
Yeah, I made it like
Since I got my thyroid out,
Oh, I
I'm freezing
bet.
all
Oh,
the
did you get it
time.
out?
Have, what a half of it. Yeah, ever since then, I am freezing all the time.
What regulates your heart rate.
You ready to
Go
me?
over and sit
Oh,
down.
I guess he's guarding you.
But I got down to 185
Well, that helped too.
from 228.
Yeah.
So I'm doing pretty good.
I've lost about 30 pounds and I'm cold again.
Yeah, straight your knees. Oh, he's sure taking a liking to Linda.
I think we're all right. It's believe so. Believe so. Okay.
Okay, welcome everyone. It is January 14th, 6:30 p.m. Village of Bellmont Board Meeting. Call to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Dylan Woods here.
Barb Bruce here.
Lynn Johnson here.
Peggy Wallen here.
Linda Isaac.
Claudia Dan Clerk.
Thank you. Can we all stand for a pledge of allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and
to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll start out with, has everyone had a chance to review the minutes from last month that you received earlier in the week? We have a motion to approve minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor, please?
Aye.
Aye. Did you say you?
I'm sorry, who was the first?
First, second,
I second.
in favor, and Dylan and I, did you say no? Yeah. Is it?
Okay.
Okay, next we have, bills and financials. Everyone's had a chance to review those.
Hardly.
And,
We can't hear you back here.
okay, sorry, I need some water. Excuse me, I'm gonna grab a water real quick. If we have no questions on the bills and financials, may I have a motion to approve bills?
I'll make a motion to approve the bills. I'll second.
May I have a roll call vote, please?
Barb, Bruce, yes.
Dylan would, yes.
Linda Johnson, yes.
Peggy Walling, yes.
Linda Isaac, yes. Okay, the mayor asked for a roll call vote for approval of the bills and financials. There were 5 aye votes and 0 nays. Yeah, so the bill passed.
Have a water report, please?
Oh, yeah, I've been reviewing the water readings, they've all been good, consistent with what we need. We've not had to have any maintenance done this month on the water system. The tower levels have been maintaining as well as the pressures. And, when it gets a little, I don't know, thawed out a little more, or a little warmer, we're gonna have a valve looked at out of the sewer ponds. It's not turning right, so the company that did it has been contacted and they're gonna come out and
Okay.
weather permitted.
Did you get fluorine readings?
Today I did 1.2 at the tower, 1.2 at City Hall.
And the level at the tower?
I don't have that on my paper here. I think it was 118 that showed it. 119.
All the three. I just reviewed that and it was 120 with the copper lighting. Thank you. Okay, we have reports from trustees. Anyone, I know Claudia has some stuff she wants to talk about on the, how do you say it, OSLAD grant?
Barb wants to talk about that.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. Barb, you go right ahead.
Well, we were notified, I believe, early December that we were awarded the OSLAD grant for the park and the renovations. This year it will be free money because we are in a distressed community. So it's 100% grant. It won't cost us anything to do that. They've got a lot of plans in the works. They're going to redo the basketball court, put pickleball courts in. They're going to do a walking trail around the park. Let's see what else. Going to redo the bathrooms at the shelter house, I believe, and those will now be handicap accessible. I believe we're also going to have parking spaces up there, which I think will be really good, so we won't have the issue of people getting stuck in the mud at different times. And We're gonna have playground equipment also put in that will be handicap accessible for children. And we do have some printouts here of the schematics of what things are gonna look like. I think this will go real nice with the work that's being done over at the ballpark, which is again separate from this. And that's continued to go well through the winter. We've gotten some nice donations from people, former residents, and just to clarify the name, the first meeting, we opted for the recreational league because we don't really know that baseball will be played there. We feel like where it's gonna be utilized are area softball teams coming in. So we didn't wanna lock ourselves into that name. So, I think, and I've heard a lot of positive feedback from the community, so. Anyway, what I have on that.
And what we got done up there so far looks really good.
It does, it does.
Really does.
Yeah.
A lot of work.
Yeah. They're ready to go, and thank goodness Dennis left his plans for those dugouts, so they'll know how to finish those out.
And while we're on that, real quick, just to let you know, I know this has to do with that. I do have a lead on a few truckloads of clay.
Oh, for the baseball?
For the baseball
Okay,
field.
great,
For free. Doesn't want to be recognized, doesn't want anything.
That's
He just
fantastic.
wants to donate it, and so when the
Great.
weather gets better, he's gonna get with me, and
Well, fantastic.
we'll get her done.
That's awesome.
We'll have to be getting more dirt down first and then clay, right?
How does that work?
Probably clay first, and then most likely I'd say the clay would go down first, but I'm not 100% positive then.
Okay.
I'm not.
Because I
I'm
know
not
it's
a
lacking,
excavator
it's lacking
guy.
in dirt, we knew that. and
Yeah,
it's-
we're definitely gonna need that.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds good. Okay. Yes.
We're also waiting on, word from the granting agency for OSLAD that, for the date that we can begin, and, Munlo, no, it's not the right name. Milano and Grunlow is the name of the, agency that drew up the plans, and they will be, writing out everything to accept bids when the time comes. So we're waiting on the okay from the OSLAD people that you may begin.
Okay. All right, on old business, we have the abatement estimates that I handed out. This is my first set of estimates. Did everyone have a chance to review it? We're not gonna be acting on this at this time, but I just wanna make sure you guys see it and realize the cost involved. If you want to ask about the different areas, it's explained there on the address where it says billing address. That's the actual place it's being abated. And none of these involved the houses. This is just for the cleanup, the yard cleanup. Trees down, things of that sort, debris.
What are those for?
So, you'll see that there's they range in prices depending on the work of level that needs to be done, labor level.
We can't hear you back here again.
Can't hear it all.
You guys see that?
We don't know what you're talking about.
And, do you have any questions on it?
What's going on?
We can't hear it.
We don't know what's going on.
Okay, well,
I heard
Be
abatement,
quiet.
that's all I
We're
heard.
not talking.
okay, guys, I'm not gonna open the floor yet. We're doing a meeting
No, we're just
here.
trying to
can't
hear what
hear
you're
it on the
saying.
floor.
I'm
We can't
speaking.
hear
My
the
open
business.
meeting
You guys
act,
need to
we
be
have to be
quiet
able to
so that
hear.
I can tell you what I'm talking about, because
Okay,
you obviously
thank you.
can't
We was
hear.
quiet.
Thank
You're
you,
not.
thank you.
So,
Don't point at me.
the abatements are on the
Not
nuisances,
your child.
right? Remember how we sent out nuisances, and we're trying to abate those properties? We
Which
have
properties
some
are they?
rough estimates, but none of them are being acted on now. I'm bringing it to the attention of the board, the cost that's involved, and as we go further and get more estimates, we'll make the decision if we want to actually abate or not. It's very expensive.
Which properties are they?
The first ones that we have are Bellmont and Persimmon, South Persimmon. I think exactly where that's at. Bellmont, South Persimmon. That would be the old Stoneburger place that has a trailer, a house, a garage, and built, grown up in the back there. I think it might have a little bit of equipment on it also. Bellmont, there's 8 lots, Church and Hill Street. That would be the Judy Gushlag property that has grown up. It also has abandoned house too, but of course we're not working with houses at this time. 109 South Church Street. That would be the property that Bub Gunzel lives in, that he has tried to turn into a junkyard.
Okay.
And 317 Hackberry, which is an abandoned house. The owner is in Arizona, I believe, and he has not gotten back with me again, so if we go too much longer, he will also be abandoned house, and we might pursue that at that time. The next property is 322 East Hill Street. It has overgrowth, trash and debris. That's the ones we're looking at right now. So you guys review those. I'll continue to try to get more estimates. The estimates we have on that one are from Travis Excavating out of Albany. He was our second bid on the ditch cleaning excavating. I do think he's a good source, and we'll just continue to see what, once we really think what we can afford and can afford, we'll get additional bids on whatever properties the board tells me to try to pursue. Okay. Next I have new business. Our city employee, Chris Roberts, resigned. I have hired a temporary part-time employee that is doing our daily readings and helping maintain the wells.
Who is that?
And Rick Diaz. He worked with us before he retired in June. Linda, I wanted to invite, or thank you for coming this evening. I'm glad you're doing much better and back home getting along better. It's good to see you.
Thank you.
We had the trash contract that I had presented for the last couple of months. And has everyone reviewed it? Do you have any questions about it? If everyone did their math, they found that it'd be a 3% increase for the next 5 years. The amount that we would be charging at this time would be $17. That's an increase of $4 per bill. There's $14.17. Thank you. $3. And our agreement that we had previous, that everyone has a copy of, if you look at line 5, that is where the contract is that says can be extended for the next 5 years if we both agree. So I need the board to vote on that if they would like to go with this proposal.
So, no further price increases for 5 years.
Right.
It's good for 5 years, and we do get,
Yes, that's correct.
so we're gonna vote on $17 trash bill for 5 years.
Yes.
Or what?
I have a question.
What's your question, Dawn?
She said 17 for 5 years, or the alternate is what?
No, that
For
is,
TNT?
oh, the TNT bill, I don't have that with me this evening. Do you still have your copy?
Not in this, I don't.
Okay.
No. No, I was just, so we're voting on this? Or,
On their 3 years, they were higher
They
than
got
that.
it short for 3 years, and they were going to charge an additional receptacle, and they did not have enough to give us two from the beginning. But if that's something that you think that we still consider, I can go find a copy of that in the other room. I thought at the last meeting everyone leaned toward Republic, but I believe you needed more time to review the Republic contract.
yeah, because I didn't, all I had was that one they gave to Robinson. There's nothing else really to review. I mean, if you
I
guys
have
are ready
a
to vote,
question.
then
Did you check into any kind of recycling offers they have? And what about our
twice a year dumpster, are we gonna get that back, or does it include big trash pickup now with that contract too? And we had discussed about, I've been talking to you about a couple of years off and on, about when the contract was due, and if we could check in any kind of recycling programs that we could do here.
I will try to discuss that with you more when the floor is open. This contract does say that we will have 2 big trash pickups, as we always have. It's a continuation of the previous contract.
Thank you.
All right, do we have a second to go ahead and vote?
I'll second.
Okay, and then I will make a motion to accept this offer as we have in front of us. I will be the first. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, who's the second?
Linda, I second.
Well, I think we have first, second. Aye. And Dylan is abstaining. Oh, you want to say nay?
Yeah.
He says nay. Did you say nay on the bills too?
No,
then, or
I
just
abstained from that one.
Okay. Okay, then that will be
Well, I
passed.
guess no, it would have been a nay. I'm sorry. That's my bad. I wouldn't think, yeah, nay on that.
Nay on what?
On the minutes. I
And,
didn't.
and the bills you.
The bills was yes.
Yes, so it's nay on
Those
the
were
minutes.
yes, but the minutes were nay.
Okay.
And this vote nay.
Okay. You got that? Okay. And so on the application contract here, the contract, the clerk and I will be signing it and turning it back in probably tomorrow. Okay, the next is the ordinance, 2024-01 was our PTO amendment. At this time, we are still working on that ordinance and do not have one to present this evening. Frank is working on that to see if there's any more codification that will affect that, because there's been one since the bill was passed last year. Okay. Do we have anything else around the table? We'd like to discuss about? Okay. At this time, I'm going to prepare to open the floor for public comments. I want to remind everyone that you're not to approach the table, you're not to holler at me, and you are not to swear. And we will move forward. The floor is open. Please stand, speak, and tell us your name.
My name's Harold Thomas, and I own that Stoneburger property.
There you are,
And
Mr. Thomas.
I would like a list of exactly what you say is wrong with it.
Okay, did
Because
you?
I'm reading the letter that I got, and it's saying there's rats, there's trash, there's garbage. Well, there is no garbage. If there's trash, it's very minimal, and there are no rodents. There can't be any rodents around here because you got 4 dozen feral cats around here.
There's a lot of cats.
And I've never seen a rodent on the property or in the buildings.
Okay.
And the other thing is, that mobile home you were talking about, that belongs to the county.
Which mobile home?
The one you say is on that property?
On your property, how much of the property do you own, sir?
I own 3 lots there.
Okay, so
There-
that,
There's an old mobile home there.
right,
It belongs to the county.
okay. I'll look into that at the courthouse, and so you would not be responsible for that.
Well, they told me I could tear it down and they wouldn't get upset. But it actually belongs to the county. I didn't buy it. You have to buy them separate.
Okay. And on your ordinance, nuisance violation,
Mhm.
it had asked you to respond to us. I think it gave you a certain amount of days, and I have not heard any response from
I
you
didn't
until
get
tonight.
that for a long time.
Okay. Had you changed addresses, or
What's that?
had you changed addresses?
No, my mailbox actually got knocked over and it getting back up and the postman just sent it back.
Okay, well, I appreciate you coming in this evening and bringing it to our attention. I will, if you could leave your number, and a correct address. I'll get that information out to you again, and it does have the ordinance violations on it. And I think the reason why you're seeing rodents and so forth is because when there's overgrowth, there does become more rodents and so forth. I've had complaints of rats and coons, but your property is not the only one in that area that would be susceptible to those things. There's
Well, like I
two
said,
other lots close to
I've
you.
never seen any animals on it but cats.
Well, with all the overgrowth, I'm not surprised.
Well,
So, and right now it's not too bad, so I don't know if you would go out and see snow prints now or not, but.
well, you
I
can
agree with
if
cats.
something's big enough to make a print.
Okay. Well, you can get with the clerk and let her know of your correct address and phone number, and we'll try to work with that. Okay?
I'd also like a copy of that abatement.
For your to correct the problem?
Yes.
Yes, sir, we can do that. It's just our first appraisal. We would seek more because we want to get the cheapest price that we can to do it, because that is passed on to you. So, you know, we don't want to cause any extra expense for yourself. So, okay. And Harold Thomas, sorry. Okay. Is there anyone else? Yes, Linda.
Linda Lowry. A lot of your, thank you, Barbie, for working on the grant. I appreciate it. There's a lot of work.
Well, thank you. And also, what I did fail to mention, I know that you'll really like, is there's gonna be wildflowers there.
That's good.
And and we have a bat house that's gonna go in. They told us that would make it fly. So,
That's good.
you know, we're very fortunate for a village this size to have an area like that.
We are. I've said that for years.
And-
I'm glad you agree.
And like I said, you know, we've lost a lot of businesses and schools and things here, but you don't give up. You look at what you have that you can move forward with and make positive, and that's a great asset that we have.
Yeah, it is. I agree with you
Yes.
completely.
Yes.
I did have a few questions though, and some of them were kind of answered with what you were talking about. Now, the OSLAD grant was designed to promote healthier and stronger communities. With that said, bringing that into our community, we already have to have a healthy community, and I don't feel that we really do. We've got the, might as well be illegal junk scrapyard. That breeds mosquitoes. That's hiding places for rats and the animals that eat the rats. So, you know, and that's more than just cats. And so that's a problem. You got standing water, which just where mosquitoes breed. The sidewalk in front of that place, you can't even walk down it. They're filling it in slowly with dirt. There's all kinds of equipment on it. And you have to walk out into the street in that dangerous curve to get across the road. And there's kids going to the bus stop that have to walk past there. Now there's going to be people walking to the park that need to go down through there. And that's our responsibility to keep that clear. That's not private property. That's public property. So I think we need to address that. The traffic on Hill Street, I think I talked to you, Linda, about this, and Claudia. It's getting real bad. It's not rolling stops. In a little place like this, a rolling stop, if you do that, you do have time to you know, make a decision what you got to do. But it's blatant running of the stop signs, and it's not, I'm not talking about farm equipment per se, it's everybody. And they'll just run up and down that road flying, and there's nothing really we can do about it because we can't have police officers down here trying to enforce the law. We need to put the speed pads back in and be done with it. We don't have to put those high humped up speed speed humps. We can put the pads. That'll slow people down. It's like a highway now, especially since you've asked people not to park on the road. It's even worse. At least they had to slow down to maneuver around the cars. Now they don't have that. So we do need to address that. That's a danger. Illegal burning in general throughout the town. It's still going on. Nobody seems to care. When you're burning that stuff like plastic and all that, that's a low fire. And that spreads out, and it doesn't rise up like other fires. It spreads out through the town. And when you're burning that stuff, that releases plastics, which are a lot of times carcinogenics, and that's what our town's getting filled with. When you walk out of the house, you don't know. That's not all the time. It's a little bit better than it used to be. But you don't know what you're going to breathe when you open the door. It could be halfway fresh air. It could be somebody that's burnt tires or plastic or anything else. It's still going on. Right now my neighbor has a tire and all kinds of plastic on his burn pile. You know, so it's still going on, and we don't, what are we going to do? Have this nice place to bring more, you know, people into our community, promote stronger and healthy community, and then bring them into all that? That's not fair. That's not right. That's not how we want to, you know, welcome people into our community. And also that OSLIDE grant is funded through a percentage of the real estate transfer tax. That's where the money for that grant comes from. But this doesn't have anything to do with the grant. Since we cleared off the lot up here of the gravel and moved all that down here, now that lot's empty. That would be a good place to put a bus stop, a covered bus stop shelter for the kids. That way it's connected to the park on Main with a little library, and we could fix that up, you know, nothing fancy, but something kind of safe, and it would be a bright spot rather than a bleak spot on that corner, and that would help tie in with the rest of the town improvements. But I just think those are some things we need to look at. But I really do feel strongly about the health of our community and what we're all breathing in and the things that are being brought on to us. You know, there's a lot of things going on now with, you know, diseases, and that's mosquitoes bring a lot of that in, and we do need to address those problems. They were really bad last year. But I think that's about it. But again, thank you.
Linda, is the four-way stops you're talking about, is it just the one at Oak Street? Or are you seeing
That's
that?
the one that I'm most aware of, because that's
Okay.
where our kitchen is.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Okay.
You see
And
it.
The sidewalk that you were talking about, is that on Hill Street or Church Street? 'Cause
I think that's church. It's the one street over. It's the, what's his name?
if it's the one that goes out toward the park,
Yeah.
or toward the tower, is that what you're talking about? Toward the tower on
What's the name of that
That's
street?
Hackberry.
One over from me, the one you live on.
Hackberry.
Hackberry.
Hackberry?
Hackberry.
Okay. I do not have a estimate on his property yet. It was told to me that most of the extra debris on that lot does belong to his neighbor, and so that when that property is abated,
It's Lorraine.
we're hoping that that will pick up that extra junk that actually does not belong to that resident.
Okay, but
But the sidewalk.
yeah,
right
the
in front of
sidewalk
Mr.
is public
Hardwick,
property.
his house,
So
okay.
that doesn't have anything to do with anybody's property. Except all of
Thank you.
us.
And I have addressed that with him before, but I'll continue to pursue it.
Yeah, because that's kind of dangerous.
Yeah.
Oh, and did you check into any kind of recycling program for us here?
Haven't found anything yet. I know we've talked about it, but.
Now,
Did you find something recently on that? Recycling? Okay.
as individuals, we can take our plastic to the one in Mount Carmel.
Is that where the old Wyatt place used to be?
No, it's down there on the highway. What's on the by the river, behind the high school or something.
Hydraulic.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Or it goes
Ace's
Ace's
Way.
Way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Yeah, Ace's Way down there, okay. Maybe we
I
can
kept
put a
thinking.
posting of that outside. Claudia, would you write that for me? And we can remind folks about that one. And the burn, you said you recently witnessed some burning. Was
Oh,
that
yeah.
inside city limits? Or was, you
Yeah,
said
it's
your
n-
neighbor, so
Yeah, it's
you don't have to.
Brad's old house. I mean, Brad's house where he used to live. There's new people living in there.
Brad Lloyd?
I don't know.
Right, so right next to you, right before
There's,
the.
yeah,
four-way
Chris's
stop.
trailer and then
Okay.
next.
All right, then we'll try to address that also.
Dee Dee's really
I don't know.
We did witness
Her
some
sister.
other illegal burning this past couple of weeks, and that was also reported. I could not attend myself because I had the children but no one else to help me, and so I didn't get out, but I did report that. It was a bunch of metal, and I don't know if tires were involved, but definitely not burning material,
Right.
because we only burn brush inside the village, your own leaves and trees and brush. Okay.
That
Thank you.
also include paper.
You're really not supposed to burn paper either. The ordinance says brush.
Well, I'm not talking about open on the ground, but I'm talking about a
In your
fire
pit.
outside, like in a pit or a barrel or something like that.
Yeah, the ordinance says,
Not only the ordinance, it's a state law
Yeah.
that you can only burn brush from your own yard even.
yeah,
Well, yeah, but that's open burning. That's on the ground. I'm talking about contained in a barrel. So
It's-
it's not going
Seems
anywhere.
like you can't burn your paper trash.
That's more dangerous than on the ground because it's concentrated and it smolders.
The
Well,
state
it's
law's
not
pretty clear. You
dangerous
can
if
only burn
20
your
foot
own
from
brush.
anything around it.
If you want, we can try to look up that information for you and send it in your letter, or in a letter.
Yeah.
Or give you a place to look it up yourself. Sure. Okay, Claudia? Thank you. Okay. All right, and then, anyone else have anything they'd like to say?
Dave King. I'm a citizen of Bellmont. I'd like to talk my 5 minutes.
Okay,
Without
I'll be
being
sure to
interrupted.
set a timer.
I want to talk about this parking lot or whatever you're going to make up here on the north side of Brad and Peggy's where the rock was kept. I'd like to know whether it's still up for sale or not. Because we said something about it here a while back, and I guess I was interested in buying it. I think some other people were interested in buying it, sent paperwork in. And Peggy sent one in wanting to buy it, and we haven't heard nothing on whether it was still for sale or whether Brad owned that 7 foot on this side. And you knew where the property line was. Then on top of that, we got paperwork where there wasn't a water meter in there, where you said there wasn't nothing in there, and then the town worker went up and took one out later on at 8 o'clock about at night and plugged it. So you're telling me there wasn't a water meter and there was a water meter in it, and then they owned 7 foot up there, and then we was interested in buying it, and I guess because somebody couldn't make a deal somewhere at their house or back rooms or something, well, you just dropped it. Didn't tell nobody anything else. Stuff got moved up there and not a word was said. Well, so is it still up for sale? We were interested in buying it. And then, on top of that, you scrapped a bunch of stuff, and I heard the truck was even scrapped. And then all of a sudden, now it's out on the street running around with a volunteer in it. So what's it doing on the street with a volunteer? That's about as dangerous as you can get. Wasn't you ready for winter? Didn't you plan anything? I mean, you're supposed to plan every year for cold weather and snow. Didn't look like you were ready for anything. But you can bring somebody down, throw them on a tractor, weld the blade up, put it on there, costing the taxpayers money, and then throwing somebody in there. Something would have happened to somebody. I guess the town would have paid for that too. As far as this garbage pickup, is it because people ain't paying their trash is why you're raising it? I mean, you said people ain't paying their trash bills, and we's down to nothing the last time I heard of it, and then now all of a sudden we're going to raise it, do the trash. I'm still looking for the grant for the water. I ain't heard nothing on that. Then I thought the shelter house was separate from the park, and now you're going to use grant money to fix the bathroom? Now how's that separate? You know, there's stuff going on here in town that, you know, you just go 1 foot in front of the other and don't realize what you're doing, I guess. Just like that truck out there. Hardrick's come back down, he's a volunteer maybe, that's good. He can volunteer, but why you doing putting him in a dangerous truck out in the public? It's dangerous, I'm telling you. No insurance, no sticker, probably nothing on it, on top of that. Because you sit here and scrap something, then you drag it out of the scrap. It might have insurance, but it ain't got no sticker to legal be on the road. If I was out there, they'd arrest me for not having a sticker. And for speed, there's a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit sign down there and up here, and not the first town board member said anything about slowing anybody down. And as far as these trashy places, I'm glad you're gonna try to clean them up. They need cleaned up. I like to see the town cleaned up. I like to see the whole town cleaned up. But as far as that lot up there, I ain't heard a thing. People's interested in buying it. And all of a sudden, we said, oh, it disappeared off of it and ain't heard a word. It's like kick the can down the road. Just like that camper sitting over there. It's not been disconnected. The water's not been disconnected from the camper. And it's on city property, the fence is. David King, I'm done.
Would you like me to address the things that you mentioned now?
Yes, I would.
Okay, let's see if I can find
Oh,
it.
and one more thing.
Notes.
Is there any applications for the town
Your
worker?
time is up, and I'm gonna go ahead and address what you've asked. I believe you started with, Claudia, it's hard to read.
Lot for
I know.
sale.
The lot, when that time that someone requested on the lot, Peggy did not ask to buy that lot. It was brought to the board. The board said in the open meeting that we do not have property for sale. So that has not been mentioned again. We do know that where our property line starts on the concrete pad down there, the board has discussed having that concrete taken up and having rock put down and having a parking lot put in there for the bus. We've talked that in several months ago and are still looking into that. We actually are considering that it might be best for the bus to actually pull into that lot so people are not parking on the street. So you have the drivers, parents parking in the lot and the bus. We've talked about this in the previous meetings. As far as the truck, it was also discussed about that not being scrapped, but possibly putting it up for bid. We needed the truck to help clear the ice.
It shouldn't be on the road though.
Okay, I won't need to address what you've asked unless you let me. It is licensed. It is insured. It doesn't run the best. And Mr. Hardwick is a volunteer, and he did a good job running it. We appreciated it.
That's why they won't make them
Let's see
clean
what
up that wall.
else.
They use them all the time.
And we're talking about Mr. Dave Hardwick.
Yeah, sidewalk it is.
And I'm speaking.
I'm speaking to her, I ain't speaking to you. I can still talk back here.
Okay, then I'm done commenting. I'm sorry, Mr. King. I can't have the interruption if you've asked.
Well, go ahead and
to answer
finish it.
something.
No kidding, I'm talking to her,
And then
not you guys.
You mentioned about cleaning up the town and the trash. I would appreciate if you would go ahead and remove the upholstered furniture, which is a nuisance violation that is on your property.
There ain't
That
no
is part of
salvage
the
license.
process. You have 3 days to salvage it, and then you either have to move it back.
Where's the license?
And to keep furniture in your yard,
Salvage.
there is no license to keep upholstered furniture in your
salvage.
yard. I've sent you an ordinance explaining that to you. So I'm requesting again, if you will go ahead and move that furniture. I did not have time
When that
to recommend
camper
the
moves,
letter.
it'll move.
The camper is not illegally parked.
All
You
that
can
junk
store a
is
camper on
though.
your property. I can store a camper on my property, and we do. Let's see if I can see what else you wrote here. Garbage, snow.
Well, I can address the shelter house.
Oh, yes,
Okay. So David, the shelter house is included in the OSLAG grant. What isn't included in that grant is anything over at the baseball field. Concession stand, the field, none of that. That's all volunteer. Because, you know, for us to get that going and have money, the reason we made that decision, if they would have done anything over there, we couldn't have had tournament fees if we had tournaments. So we kept that separate. We've been very fortunate that we've been able to do that through volunteer work. But the shelter house is included in the grant.
David, I can appreciate how you do like to keep an eye on things that are going on in town, but I do think that you misunderstood about the water meter that was uncovered, and then there is no water meter in there, the one you spoke of down here on North Main Street. That's still north.
Oh, there's two of them down there.
And it's usually not covered, and we do not want it tampered with. And the resident asked for it to be covered back up because it is not in use in any sort.
After you took the water meter
So-
out.
So you just kind of misunderstood what was going on there.
No, I got an FOIA that tells me you said there wasn't none in there.
Yeah, exactly.
We got a picture of the guy taking the meter out.
Got a video of him taking it out.
Okay, and then, oh, the speed limit, I believe Chris told me that speed limit was 35 miles everywhere in town, and I'm not certain of that.
That's 20.
But I will look into that and, see what our roads are posted at and if they need to be reposted.
Says 20 for years.
So- Okay, so I've addressed everything that you asked me about. And I'll ask at this time, is there anyone else that would like to speak?
I would.
Linda, I'm sorry, you're
Okay, let me just say that, is that why you won't make him clean up that sidewalk, is because you use him to work all the time? In front of his house.
She said is that why you don't make him clean the sidewalk because he's a volunteer.
No, I say because you use
John
him all the
Hardwick did
time.
not volunteer for us during the snow season
He's a
here.
You just said he did, well,
No,
why
John
don't you
did
make
not.
him clean up that sidewalk?
Dave
Then that's,
Hardwick did.
that's public
And I-
property, that's not private property. You don't need to
Okay,
get
Linda,
an
you've
abatement
already
for that.
spoken, and I've already explained to you that I have addressed that with him, and I will try
It
again.
don't sound like it. You
Okay.
tried to pawn
At
his
this
junk off
time-
on his neighbor,
at
and
this
you know
time,
that's
John-
not true.
Linda,
Well, it's true. You tried to
this
pawn
time,
his junk
John-
off on his neighbor.
King has the floor. John, go ahead, please.
My time started yet?
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry.
So my name is John King. First of all, you made Will Cook move out of town. I know me and Will had some disagreements, personal disagreements in the past. But yet you made him move his whole camper out of town. But yet you leave Peggy right there with her camper still hooked up. You made a whole man move his livelihood out of village limits. But you let a trustee sit right there and keep on doing what she's doing, even though you sent the board sent your own trustee a letter saying she needs to move that camper because the man was living in it, squatting in it. Second of all, who runs the YouTube page for the village? You know you can't delete comments by law, and I am pursuing that. It is a public forum, and I guarantee if I filed a FOIA right now, you wouldn't have a policy on it probably. None at all. You deleted my comments. That's an erosion of the First Amendment. It's a government page. It's not your personal page. Second of all, or third of all, you cut this lady out of your videos. You're cutting and editing and deleting your videos. And I can show you right now on my phone. I don't know how many videos you did it to. You did it to the last meeting video. You cut Dylan out of the video leaving. You cut two things out of the video that was still on the agenda because you didn't want to show the last part of you down talking the trustee. You talked to me the same way when I was on the board. That's disrespectful to Dylan. And sometimes me and Dylan don't get along. We don't see eye to eye. But we know what's right and we know what's wrong. And that's wrong. Another thing, both Hardwicks need to clean up their sidewalks and all their trash. Both of them. I remember when Hillary Capes lived in that house down there by Dylan's house, and that sidewalk was immaculate and brand new. They redone it. And then my kid has to walk in the middle of the road, or ride his bike in the middle of the road up by my house. Because there's only one sidewalk down that road. Another thing, you did a good job getting a grant. I appreciate that for the park. But the thing is, you should have upkept the park. You two been on the board for I don't know how long, probably since before I was born, I don't know. But years. So who's going to upkeep it now? Especially where you people are going, because you're a little older than I am. Who's going to upkeep it? $600,000 is a lot of money. And me and some other people are going to see where every penny of that goes. Thank you.
That was part of my comments that got cut last time.
John, do you want me to address anything you said at this time?
Sure, go ahead.
John, you questioned about the camper that was on Hill Street. That in fact was someone that was squatting water. I contacted him and his owner of the property and said that it was improperly connected and asked them to disconnect it. The choice to move the camper was theirs. I did not tell them to move their camper. I did ask that they clean up the property. The other one you asked about, you mentioned a board member owning a camper. They are allowed to own a camper and have it parked wherever they want. At that same time, that camper owner did, we pulled the water and they disconnected from the sewer. They are allowed to have it parked there.
No, he didn't.
No, it
You can
didn't.
go look right now.
And then, let's see. You mentioned Hardwick.
Got that picture, dude.
Is that what that say, Claudia?
Both needed to clean their properties.
Oh, yes, there are several properties in town that do need cleanup. We have residents burning things that they should not be burning. We can only tackle one thing at a time and continue to encourage people to do better. I'm hoping that with this park that we're hope to be getting cleaned up, that people will take more pride in the village and do their part, keeping their own properties clean. We have plans on continue to work on the ditches and repair sidewalks we can. And if we need places that need new sidewalks, we would have to write in resolutions, but we will pursue that. The board has talked about the fact that once a park is improved, who's going to take care of it. And not only do some of the trustees themselves are willing to volunteer, but we will hope the public will also volunteer to maintain our park. Even now, I've had people telling me that they would help maintain the park, and I've not seen people out there doing it. So, you know, people will say they're gonna do it. I don't know. And I agree, the grant is a good thing, and I don't understand your last statement you said there.
The park should have been kept up in the past.
Yes, and I know myself, I've done a lot of volunteering down there myself. I do believe too, you said something about, you were concerned about your child having to walk on the street. We are still in the process of getting those sidewalks cleared up. And I'll continue to do that. I've addressed that several times, and I'll continue to do so.
But it's your property.
And then,
I have a question.
What about YouTube? You didn't address that.
oh, the YouTube,
Yeah.
I do put, the, YouTube videos on the program. I do not have it open for comments. I believe
deleted
that
comments.
I do not have to have the,
You're gonna find
the
out.
YouTube video open for comments because we have open meetings.
But you
No,
did
because I
already.
want meetings.
And I commented,
And
and
I-
you deleted them.
Then I don't need to speak anymore because you're
That's fine.
interrupting.
I'll pursue it,
Okay,
don't worry.
thank you. Okay,
What
That's-
is our YouTube
that's all
page?
that. I'm sorry.
I'm just curious, how many
The village of Bellmont.
under 18-year-old children are there in this town?
I don't know the exact number.
50, 100,
Oh, no.
No,
Probably
10?
15.
More than 10.
30 maybe at the most.
18
That's what I see it.
Under
Around
18.
30, 35.
to figure out.
18.
Under 18.
I got one.
I don't know what your grant is,
And
but
I have
I'm
grandchildren
just
coming
wondering
all the
why
time.
we're spending all that money on the park when there's very few kids around. I mean, how big of an area is that supposed to be?
Have you seen our park, sir?
No.
You're welcome to go down there and see that. It's not a very big area, but it could use some improvements, and that's what we're working on. The funds that we receive for the park are only usable for improvement of a park.
Oh, that's what I was wondering.
Yes,
The walking path, the area around the park itself is 1/4 of a mile.
I put that in the first 2 hours of the day.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, so I mean, it would be a nice area for people to walk in and, yeah,
I work in a building that's 600 feet long, and I gotta keep going from end to end.
I'm sure you do.
Could've used it on the sewer ponds, you're still draining sewage out in the main ditch. You let it fill up and you open it up and let her run. Like it ain't noticeable.
Are those ditches you were talking about, are they cleaning all of the ditches in town?
Not all of them. There's about 22 ditches that were put on the resolution last spring to be cleaned. And the excavator started on it, and he will be back in the next spring to continue. Depending on how quickly he gets back on it and what our resolution that we get drawn up for next year, I'm not sure all the ditches will continue, because we're also gonna try to start working on the sidewalks.
The reason I was asking was because where my property is, corner of Persimmon and Hackberry, I believe it is.
I believe the one behind
Yeah,
your
south,
house is
yeah.
on the list to be fixed. It's on the alley.
Oh.
Those are the ditches we work on, are the ones that are smashed at the alleys and so forth. They're the town ditches.
Well, I was
Any
gonna dig it
individuals
out
have to do it.
myself,
Mhm.
but they had just put in, fiber optic. And I don't wanna dig in, it's $1 million an hour if you cut one of them cables.
You mean at your residence somewhere else or here?
Huh?
Here? Fiber optic?
Yeah. You never seen them white and orange poles?
It's been some time ago that happened.
So I avoided cleaning the ditches out because I didn't wanna cut no fiber optic cable.
Uh-huh.
But
Well, of course
if they can get cleaned out, I had plans of putting another piece of culvert in there so that that corner is not a problem, because it is a problem.
I know that alley definitely needs to be taken care of behind your property. And then, of course, when you put in your Julie dig, you should get the correct markings for what you need to do. And also, you will need to apply for a culvert permit if you're replacing or putting a new one in. We will need that on file.
Okay.
Okay.
Or could I just give the people that are digging it out the culvert and let them do it all? Because all I want to do is put the culvert in the corner and fill it in so it's flat instead of a big hole that people go in.
Again, apply for the application for it, do the Julie dig, and go from there.
Just put this on.
Okay,
Just
I
put
left
it
out
in.
2 things about the park I had a question with.
yeah.
Barbie, are you going to keep the original signage at the park? It used to say Bellmont Park to preserve nature, beauty, and freedom.
Yes, we have some boards that Judy Weir donated to us, so we have that in the works to
So
repair
maybe we can
that.
get that fixed up
Yes,
too.
yes.
And are you planning on cutting the existing trees down?
I don't,
No,
okay. Claudia says no. Good.
no.
Well, I'd like to see a few of them gone there.
Well, nothing is in
What
the
did you
plan to
ask?
remove a tree so that something
They're
can
gonna
come
cut some trees.
in that spot.
Oh.
And I will remind everyone that when the park is ready to be actually pursued, that there will be another open meeting. There's a lot that goes on before it just starts. Nothing will start without the public being more aware. Okay, all right, Bill?
Yeah, Bill Evelyn, I got a request on Northeast Street where Peggy's Trailer's at, camper, that be surveyed again to show the fences, 2/3 of the fences on city property. If I'm wrong, I'll pay for the survey. If I'm not, you'll take the fence out. And, 'cause I know where the pins are at. I knew where the pins was. One's still at the, I call be the east end. I know where that pin, it's definitely marked. And it don't go narrow. Pins are straight. Whatever it is, they're straight. It don't taper like that. It's behind that tree. We hadn't surveyed once. Somebody pulled the pins. I don't know why, who would ever done that. But anyway, that fence,
The pins are still there.
it's still there.
Yeah, the pins are there.
No, they're on the east end. They're definitely there on the
west
east end.
as well.
They're definitely on West Cave. Let's go down tomorrow and eyeball it.
If you don't feel like it's right, you have it surveyed. I don't have to prove it's mine.
Well,
I
if
know
your
where the
fence is
pins are
on,
at.
I got the
fence is
floor,
not on.
shut up, I got the
Bill,
floor.
I cautioned you to behave that way, okay?
She kept interrupting me.
Go ahead.
I'm
If
sorry.
if that fence is on city property, that is almost like theft. You've been told, you've been notified, don't you get it surveyed, go down there and look where I know where the sucker rod is drilled. They make sucker rods that the state put in. They're not. They're not sucker rods. There's a sucker rod sticking up. That is not the line. But anyway, if you don't remove it, that's theft. How can even if it's not a board member, say I had something on city property and I was making money off of it. That ain't right. I mean, that's not right. And you're being notified because you're getting rent off that, Linda. That guy said in court, he's paying you rent. He said in court under oath, he's paying you rent on that lot, both lots. And that fence is on
What
the
court
city.
are you talking about?
Huh?
Oh, when he took you to court for.
Yeah, and who won?
When you
Who
fill
won?
out the restraining order form, you know what you're talking
I understood there
about.
wasn't really anyone that was
Oh my
on the
God.
restraining order.
Oh my God.
The one you filled out
He
for.
wasn't, I didn't
Oh my God,
fill
where did
that
you
out.
at?
Yeah, you did. I was in court the first time.
You run out crying,
I was the
Peggy.
witness.
Caution you to,
You run out crying.
Mr.
Cried at
Evans,
her,
go
you
ahead
can't
and
back
speak.
it up.
Oh, was you there?
I was the first time. I was the first time when
Okay.
you didn't show up.
It was very.
Remember when you didn't show up
Can
and
you
the judge
give me
called
an
me?
answer on that, please?
I don't.
Mr.
I know.
Evelyn, I'm sorry,
You
I
should. You
cannot
filled out
hear
the
you.
paperwork for him.
Can you
No,
give me an answer?
You're telling a lie, John. You need to get your facts
Should I talk to
straight.
my lawyer?
You go right ahead.
I will. Didn't
Yeah.
you mention in court
At
that Peggy
this
filled out
time,
the
I'll
paperwork?
ask,
No.
Couldn't find your glasses? Couldn't
I'll
read
ask
it?
the floor to be
Remember?
I
closed.
didn't
Yeah,
do it.
I went to jail for
At this
perjury
time,
too,
please.
didn't
I
you?
said that I
I went to jail for perjury
Bill,
too, didn't you?
on your,
No.
Yeah, you did.
No.
Oh, yes,
As
you
a
did.
matter of
I'm
fact,
not-
Oh, yeah, you
I
did.
don't feel the
Down at
village
all.
needs to pay for
I
a
can't find my
survey.
glasses. Oh,
I
there
have
they are.
contacted the surveyor that did the property previous.
Who did that?
He is working on that and he's gonna get that information to me.
That's Dave Dallas.
And then I will share it with you at that time.
Please do. If
What
I'm wrong,
I can see,
if I'm wrong, I'll apologize to each and every one of you.
I will look at it again, but I do not see that it's on city property.
Oh my gosh.
But like I said, I've contacted the guy who did it last and he will get back with us.
Okay.
He'll be deliberating.
Let me
on
ask you
something.
this: if it is on city property, what would be your next?
Then I would have to ask the board, is it a problem for us?
A problem?
Just like back many,
Against the law.
some
Can't do that.
time
Make
ago,
money on city
someone was concerned that a trash can was on city property. Or an air conditioner or something.
That's not
And
the
so
same.
we addressed it and we found that it was
That's the
not.
same.
And then if it was, the board was gonna get easement because it was not a problem. And so the board could do that if that fence is in a way, if it's blocking anything that we need to do. Anyone who needs to go down that alley down to the other private property past it, there's a very short distance that has not been excavated, vacated.
Yeah, but if somebody's making money on that, and don't own the property, that's not right.
Well, I don't think he was making money on it.
You said in
I
court.
believe the renter come back and was actually renting a trailer.
Yeah,
Next to
he
that
rents a
property,
trailer
which
and the fence, because he
It's the
built the
same property
fence.
owner on either
He
side.
built the fence
And
on that.
maybe he does pay a rent for the trailer to park it there, I don't know.
Yeah, according to the
But
court,
It's
Court
not something
paper
that
said
the
he
board needs to get involved in on personal problems. So,
Well,
but like I said,
that's-
I've had Mr. Dallas,
That's really personal.
looking into that for me.
I'd like to,
And was
I'd like
that
to
the
have,
question that you had asked last month also?
Yeah.
It was, I tried to go back and find out exactly what the question was and I couldn't quite understand. So now I think that I've answered it and so
yeah,
I
I'd
will
like
be
to have
sending
one
you a
more
letter for it.
question.
Uh-huh.
Now, are you gonna put applications in, open for a city worker?
At this time, I'm not gonna be hiring another city worker. When we have more hours to offer, then I think I'll bring it to the board and ask them would they like me to I could ask them this evening, but at this time, I'm not. I've hired someone.
Have you hired somebody now temporary?
Yes, temporary, part-time.
You did yourself?
Yes, I did.
Okay, only way you can do that, and I've seen Dylan write that down,
Uh-huh.
the name. Only way you can do it is an extreme emergency. Can you hire?
And yes, sir, I wasn't an emergency. We did have the cold
Emergency,
weather
that's
come
what they
upon
call
us, and I did do that. Yes.
Dylan didn't even know about
I have the right, and he will learn this as and if he becomes
it.
mayor.
An
or
extreme
if he
emergency.
trains it.
I think
And
he
that
already
he
knows.
can,
It's gotta be
he has,
extreme.
the mayor has the ability to temporary hire an employee if
Now,
needed. And so I took that opportunity and I did hire.
I don't know why you got a board
Okay.
for it.
So,
Bill Evelyn, thank you.
thank you.
I'm more
Go sit
concerned
there and
about
talk
why
around
we
everything.
can't keep city employees. That's,
Wait there.
Yeah, it's, you know,
That's
I
my
think that's
concern.
something we need to consider too. I don't know if it's something we need to try to pay more or try to offer insurance.
Right, you don't
And
want to
if we
come
could
to
get a younger,
a person's house and
younger,
steal their
well,
key
I
away
can't
from them at
say
the front
the
door.
younger person, but it's very, there's a lot of
Think
labor
that's funny?
involved. You know,
Where's that
city
inventory
worker,
list
and they
at,
work by
Stacey?
themselves most of the time.
Beats me.
And I think that
And
may
he's
play a little
laughing,
bit of a
John
role
boy.
in that too.
Locked in that safe with no
The village
combination
has
to it,
never
huh?
had someone that has stayed very long. I think the last, long-term worker we had to leave because they needed the insurance. So,
who was that?
Donald Camp,
Oh, no.
he was our most, substantial in the last 5-7 years. At this time, do I have a appointment of new trustees?
I'll
Okay, the
point
next,
Bill again.
So I can go out there and look at this plate and it's got a sticker on it right now, right?
it is a municipality vehicle, it does not have a sticker, it is renewed every 2 years on the odd year, it does not expire.
Should have a sticker though.
No, sir, it does not expire.
Well, I'm gonna FOIA it and seeing when it's been done.
Okay.
A volunteer can't
next-
even be in it.
Next, yes, sir, they can. The next meeting date.
No, they can't.
Oh, I need to change that calendar, guys. February, let me get up there. Oh, yeah, it's posted right there. Thank you, I forgot that we had done that. Make sure I got it right, because last month I didn't. Next meeting date is Tuesday, second Tuesday of the month at, February 11th, 6:30 p.m. Does that meet with everyone?
Sure, for me.
Okay, then may I have a motion to, before I have a motion to adjourn, one thing that was brought up at this meeting, Dylan, is that someone thought that I had missed a video. I do not cut anything out, and I'm not really good about catching every, the beginning and the end, and I missed the end twice now since I started this. And the last one, I had to work very quickly when you left the building because you did the motion for the first and the second, and was trying to walk out of the building. Yeah, and remember, the process is, we get a first, we get a second, all in favor. Okay? Because
I didn't
otherwise,
know anything about the video. I didn't even know we had a YouTube
Why
page.
didn't your trustees even know you had a YouTube page?
otherwise that would be,
Jesus Christ.
no, that would be just missing.
That's
Still
that's one of the
we need
reasons
a-
I didn't vote on the minutes, because the minutes are not accurate with the meeting.
Well, if you feel something's not right on the minutes, always bring that to our attention. We can make an amendment at the meeting if we all agree, or we can have it retyped. So don't ever hesitate to let us know what you feel is wrong with one of the meetings, the minutes, the bills, whatever it might be. Okay?
Oh, and I was gonna ask a quick question before we're done. Is this the same guy that was plowing the roads?
Yes, that is Travis Escalade,
His
yes.
estimates away.
So we'll just keep working on estimates. You saw how expensive it is, so it's gonna be a while for us to be able to, justify doing
Oh,
the
yeah,
estimates.
definitely, but I would definitely steer clear. We should
Yeah,
have
he had
started when it started.
He was,
2 days before.
yeah, in the chain of events, he got here late and it just wasn't,
He missed
He missed 3 roads. Yeah, he
He
did.
missed a lot.
Yeah, he
He
missed
spent
3
an hour
streets.
pumping wheels in front of my house with the tractor, which really ticked me off.
Yeah, you had told me
I've only done that about 7 times.
Right,
I
okay.
don't think he even went down my street.
I'm surprised I still have fenders on my truck. Flares. They were hitting every turn going down.
The snow or?
Just had one pile, they're just piled up. Hitting
And
everything.
our plow was very poor.
I did more with a Bobcat in 3 hours than he did.
Yeah, and I think that you had mentioned to me that you volunteered to help plow.
If I can, I will,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, I don't have a problem getting out there and doing it. I got out there with my brother-in-law's Bobcat.
We sure appreciate that.
Learned as much as I
because
could.
We do need the help.
We did have some other volunteers. They
Yeah, we
cleared
did.
areas.
Okay, I have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
A second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
I'm sorry, who's the second?
And I just want to thank everybody for a nice, calm meeting.
You got my vote for mayor.
I mean, y'all, it was nice. It was a very respectful meeting for the most part.
Did everyone get an opportunity to
I
initial
didn't mean
the,
to.
where is that sheet?
Oh yeah, I initialed where she initialed.
Oh, I didn't see it.
Oh, okay, guys, it's
I just
actually,
peeled that back.
if you'll take one moment to,
What was that, what now?
I think I've got to put it back in there, guys, sorry. Yeah, he feels right.
No, I couldn't find it, so I didn't want to.
We gonna get that truck. You don't get cold with this one around, do you?
Mr. Thomas is going to, give you information.
There wasn't no water meter in there.
Thank you, guys.
There wasn't no water meter in there.
Says she didn't cut the video, it's right here. Literally, right
So
here.
my understanding is it will be handicapped accessible land. And the area that's open.
Bill?
What
are you doing, young man?
Huh?
How you doing?
Good, good. How about you?
Hell, I heard you sold your Jeep.
Huh?
Heard you got ready your Jeep.
Yeah, yeah. Bought that truck.
Sure, you have everything.
2 trucks down.
That you
Get
know,
rid of
the
that
way we
dually
have
yet?
it for
Huh?
years ago.
Ready to get rid of that dually yet?
Oh, probably summer. You wanna buy it?
Is it four-wheel drive?
Yeah.
Is it?
Got 160.
Right,
It's
right.
got that Cummins in it. Yeah, it's an
Is it automatic?
F450
Is it
though.
automatic or
Right.
manual?
Yeah,
Oh,
and
man.
that's
Yeah,
what
the
we
F450.
did. I mean, my gosh, we built that door so that when they had ball games, that we could open those up, but then they
Well,
didn't have
shit, I'm gonna go up there and check that truck.
Check it
I'm
out.
gonna make sure it's not caught on fire. By God.